So, my presentation is on how writing helps benefit people's mental health. And it's less about explaining certain things and more about showing different examples of why what I'm saying is accurate, if that makes sense. So, first, I'm going to talk about how writing helps people deal with certain effects of mental health issues. One thing that is a big benefit when it comes to writing and how it relates to mental health is the fact that writing can become an outlet to help people express their emotions. And because of that, it helps people deal with their emotion and their emotional wellness. And, emotional wellness and writing is something that I'm going to talk about later. But one example of this is from an article that was written about expressive writing, where the author said that writing about your life and your feelings has positive effects on physical and emotional health. And he also mentioned how expressive writing usually helps people get through tough times and find a way to make their thoughts make more sense. Writing also has mental health benefits when it comes to dealing with stress, and one example of this is from an article that talked about college girls and where they had them talk about certain things that caused them stress in their life, and a lot of them were dealing with things like having trouble sleeping and appearance issues. And then after they knew what some of their stressors were from that, they had them complete different writing procedures with expressive writing so that they could see how it would affect some things that cause stress for them. And the results ended up showing that some girls had less time where they were negatively comparing themselves to others, and they had less difficulty sleeping. So reduce some of the things that caused them stress before they started writing. And stress in general is a big mental health concern, so being able to help people relieve stress is an important factor in writing. Being beneficial to mental health. So for writing has mental health benefits when it comes to dealing with anxiety too. And one source that shows writing improving people's ability to deal with anxiety is from a source that talked about test anxiety in students and how that can be affected by writing. And they originally found out that they originally wanted to find the amount of test anxiety the students had. And then they had some students try writing positive things beforehand. And they discovered that expressive writing in a positive and healthy way can help reduce test anxiety for a lot of students. And the source says that it was an inexpensive and easy way to help students manage test anxiety, and that it should be something that should be tried and promoted more in schools. And the source shows how beneficial writing can be when it comes to reducing anxiety in people. For physical benefits in writing, they're literal physical benefits when it comes that people have when it comes to, or people have had as a response to writing. And one example is from a source that referenced another article where they got results that showed that their patients who wrote in a journal for 3 days in a row, and they had physical improvements that were verified by their doctors and physicians. And this source also had research that showed that there are people with asthma who had a lot of improvements in breathing, and arthritis patients that had reductions in arthritic symptoms after writing. And these are only a few examples of physical benefits that writing can bring. And this relates back to mental health because there are a lot of people who tend to either have mental health issues because of the state of their physical health, in the sense that some people worry a lot about their physical health, which causes mental health problems. Or some people can have physical health issues due to their mental health problems because they stress themselves out so much. So being able to improve your physical health through writing is also a mental health benefit. Writing, it relates mainly to emotional wellness, but also intellectual, social, and spiritual wellness. And it also relates to social and emotional health promotion and symptom and condition management from the areas of occupation. And these things can all be benefited through writing depending on what you're writing about. So when it comes to emotional health, they can be beneficial because emotional health deals with trying to understand feelings and values and constructively manage emotion, which is something that writing can help with. And for intellectual wellness, writing can help people grow intellectually and be more curious about the world. When it comes to When it comes to social wellness, writing about a person, topic, or situation can help you keep up healthy relationships and get closer to certain people. And for spiritual wellness, there are people who have said that they experience spiritual moments while writing. And when it comes to areas of occupation, writing relates to social and emotional health promotion and maintenance, because writing can help people express their needs and help them develop their self-identity and improve their life quality. And what I talked about before relates to symptom and condition management, in the sense that writing helps people manage their mental health and cope with certain mental health issues. And symptom and condition management has a section on rest and sleep where they talked about preparing for sleep and trying to relax, which is something that I also talked about in the source about the college girls who had trouble sleeping and how writing helped them. And the next category that I'm going to talk about is different people's experiences with writing benefiting their mental health, which, I mean, I've been doing this whole time, but this will be less categorized by specific mental health issues and focusing more on the different types of or groups of people who are writing, and that doesn't really, but it makes sense. So one category of people who are writing are people who are dealing with some type of illness that isn't mental. And so it doesn't have to be that person specifically who has an illness in order to benefit from writing. For example, it could be someone who's related to someone who has something like cancer who can also benefit from writing. And there's been research that shows that journaling in those situations, even if it isn't about the illness itself, tends to help people or tends to benefit people who are dealing with illnesses. And one example is from an article where some authors said that there are reasons to believe that family members of critically ill patients writing in a diary is a cost-effective intervention that can improve psychological outcomes. So when it comes to the patient themselves, writing can help them reduce depression and anxiety and lead them to recovering faster. And also the article talked about how some people with illnesses like that, it can help them remember their experiences better. Another group of people who benefit from writing and how it relates to mental health is the obvious answer of people, the obvious group of people, which is people with mental health problems or illnesses. And one source showed how written expression with mental illness is powerful. And they had 12 people who were diagnosed with the mental illness write in a journal for 3 or more years. And there was a variety of people with different mental health issues within that group. Some people there was a range of depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety, and schizophrenia and other things. And the results showed that writing it's a good possible way to increase health and personal benefits, along with being a possible therapeutic tool for the future. And some people involved were able to make sense of their identity and help increase their understanding of themselves and other people around them. And some people experience the spiritual transcendence. It helped some of them connect with their creative side and help them express things. And all of these results showed some of the different ways that people who are dealing with mental health issues can benefit from writing. Students in school have also been known to benefit from writing, as I kind of mentioned before with the test anxiety source. But one example of this is from a group of college students who were teachers in training, and the instructor had them journaling about different topics that related to the course. And the results they had students learn more about what it meant to be a teacher, and they're experiencing personal self-discoveries, and they had the chance to connect deeply with students' desires, hopes, and dreams. And these students, they ended up being more confident in their teaching abilities, which some of them were nervous about and questioning, so it ended up helping them improve their mental health through that. And one other example of students in journaling is from an article about college freshman who journals as a stress reliever and a way to help her mental health. And she said that for her personally, keeping a journal made her a happier and more confident person. She said that it can do the same for other people. One opposing argument is that the impact of writing isn't exactly 100% certain, and there are some sources that say that writing might not necessarily benefit everyone who tries it. And one example of this is from another source that said that for some people, they felt an increase in negative mood and a decrease in positive mood, like immediately after writing about a life experience. But that same source also talked about how it's a lot more likely for people to benefit from writing about life experiences as opposed to feeling bad after. Even though writing doesn't always benefit everyone, it still is a lot more likely that it will help someone more than do damage. So in conclusion, writing, it does benefit people in their mental health, and overall people should write more often, and some people's lives have been greatly changed by writing. And the people who have bad experiences, there shouldn't be something that people focus on a lot because of how many people have good experiences. And everything else is the poll and discussion questions. But I think I'm going to do that after this video ends and hear my references.